Well, I thought I would do a little update from the gardens in the end of May here. It has been a miserable spring here. Cold, fog, rain, very little sunshine. We have hope of sun coming this week, though, according to the forecast anyway. First thing that we're looking at here is the onions that I transplanted out, about a week ago, I guess. I think it was last weekend sometime. They're still not looking great because I haven't had any sun on them yet, but I think they're going to be okay. Next to the onions is my potato patch using the Ruth Stout method. And I think most of them have germinated and come up, as near as I can tell anyway. And later on this week I will be adding the first of the new straw. Plan to keep adding straw until there's at least a foot of it there to prevent the potatoes that are forming down below from turning into green potatoes. These are the two mammoth red cabbage, I think they were called. I started them way too early in the house, a month earlier than they should have been started. But they've been out in the garden now for 2 or 3 weeks, and they never looked back. They seem to be doing quite well. I think with the addition of some sunshine, we'll see them start to head up. I put out my winter squash, or kinds of winter squash, a couple of days ago, once again using the Ruth Stout method with straw. There are 4 each of an acorn variety and of red curry squash. I like both varieties very much, so hopefully there'll be a crop of them. And this is a zucchini, a variety that I've never grown before, called Costata romanesco. You should Google that. It's a really interesting looking zucchini, so fingers crossed. It's only been outdoors now for a little over 24 hours, I guess, but I have some more in the greenhouse as well, but I think it's going to be all right now where frost is all over for the year, I hope. I'll let the next few slides here go through quite quickly. They're all plants that I bought at Canada Green Nursery. I didn't grow them myself. There's kale and dill, parsley, Italian flatleaf parsley, thyme, and the last one is a cauliflower. I think Queen of the Snow it was called. I'm growing 2 varieties of peas. This first one that I'm showing you, I'm not terribly impressed with so far. Not with the germination, anyway. They were seeds from Vessey's. The variety is called Sugar Lace, and they are really a short pea, 30 centimeters or something like that. So I've given them some support there just in case. I never trust the labels, but germination has been really poor. I've reseeded some in this pot, as you can see. I have 2 pots of them. I've reseeded the other one. The other pot only had 3 plants come up, and the reseeded just seems to be working. They're starting to come up now, but wait till you see the next variety here, which is working a lot better. This variety is called Champion of England or Champion of the UK, something like that. And they just shot through the ground. I think every seed germinated. They are a tall variety, so I definitely need the support in there for them. But they are certainly light years ahead of Sugar Lace. This is one of the smaller raised beds. I'll take you through it quite quickly. The first thing here is garlic. Something I think maybe red Russian. I'm not certain. I bought the seed online, or the garlic heads online last fall. When they arrived, they were incredibly small, so I don't know what I'm going to expect when I pull this later on this summer, but they're up and growing anyway. Next to the garlic are carrots, 2 short rows of carrots, and they are at least up and growing. The germination was sort of patchy in places. Maybe I got them planted too deep, because in other places the germination was really quite good, but I think I'll get some nice carrots out of it anyway, hopefully. Next to the carrots, I have a type of mild mustard greens, supposedly mild anyway. It's my free seed packet this year from Annapolis Seeds. Whenever you order from Annapolis, they always send you something free. It's called Tokyo Becana, Ekana, and is supposed to be mild and have large leaves like lettuce. Next to the carrots we have parsnips. And I am so impressed with them, always am. Parsnips come right through the ground, especially if you plant them when its soil is still cold. They prefer to germinate in cold soil, but they sort of make you feel good when you see them growing anyway. Next are leeks. The variety is called London Broad leeks, and I plant them in what I call the English method, only because years ago a gardener that I followed was showing me how they do it in England. You just take a dibble or a stick of any kind and make a deep hole and drop a seedling down in each one, and you don't fill them in. As you water, and in this case with rain, it gradually fills in as it goes. For some reason, that always works very well. I haven't grown them in a few years now, but I have grown them with great success using this method in the past. Showing the failures along with the successes. This is a French, well, it's got a French name anyway, a red romaine lettuce called rouge d'hiver, red of winter in English, I guess. Started way too early, and I thought, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I put 4 of them out in a row, and they've been there now for 4 or 5 days, and they do seem to be perking up a bit, so perhaps I will get 4 heads out of it yet. We'll see. At the very end of this bed are Multiplier shallots, and they're interplanted with watermelon radish. And both seem to be doing quite good and enjoying the cool weather, I guess. I'm surprised at how well the shallots are doing. And the radish aren't so bad either. I'm anxious to see what they look like when you actually cut one open. It's supposed to be pink inside. They're also supposed to be crisp and mild. A little look around inside of the small, unheated greenhouse. The first thing here is quarantine cucumbers. Parthenocarpic, ones that every blossom produces a cucumber. I grow them out in the large greenhouse, which I hopefully will be able to get in there this week. I've done some work in there already, but I want to get the beds cleaned up and compost and manure and whatever added, and then these can be transplanted out there. A look at some of the winter sowing that was in this little greenhouse. They started outdoors, and then when I put the greenhouse up a couple of months ago, I moved them inside the unheated greenhouse. These first ones here are candelabra primrose. At least 3 different varieties. They were all candelabras, but I bought at least 3 different seed packages, if I remember correctly, just to get different colors and whatever. I'm very pleased with the germination on these. They have got to be moved on in their individual pots sometime this week. Well, including the weeds here. Some of the hardier looking seedlings in there are swamp milkweed. I think I had 3 different varieties of milkweed planted in my winter sowing, and these are the ones that have so far been successful anyway. The smaller containers that I used for other varieties, including the milkweed, are not doing so well. And some of the larger containers, like this one, I can't quite determine yet what is my winter sowing and what's weed. Anything that is popping up in each one of them, I remove it because it's obviously a weed, but it's some success anyway. Well, I shut down the grow room today, turned off the grow lights. Hopefully we'll be able to turn that into a bedroom again soon. I have moved everything outside in a sheltered area where it won't get hardly any direct sunlight to harden them off for a week or so before I do any planting out. This first container here is celery and cutting leaf celery, the 2 varieties. When you look closely at the plants, I don't see any difference. I guess the actual celery plants are starting to develop a hardier stalk on them. And the cutting leaf celery, you use it like you would use parsley, only to get celery flavoring. You chop up the leaves and the thinner stems on them. Well, these are my tomato seedlings, and I'm not exactly thrilled with them. Some of the varieties have done quite well. I'm sure will do pretty good when I get them transplanted out into the greenhouse. The other ones, at least the one that I was looking forward to that I've saved seeds on for a number of years now, is Gardener's Sweetheart. And they're alive, but they're not looking great. The other two varieties are yellow brandywine and San Marzano, and the seedlings there are much healthier. So at least I'll have those two varieties, and I hope I salvage some of the Gardener's Sweetheart. Well, these are my pepper plants, and chili plants, which have done much better under lights than the tomatoes did this year. Looking very healthy. Actually, some of the plants already have flower buds on them, and there are several varieties there. Habanero Caribbean Red. There's two varieties of jalapeno, one called Tam, and the other one is one that I saved seeds from last year. It was just called a mild jalapeno, and it was very mild. The Tam jalapeno is also supposed to be mild. Both of those seed varieties were given to me by a friend. Thank you, Sandra. I also have a sweet variety growing called Big Red, which I'll probably be eating when it's big green. They're red when they're fully ripe, and I like green peppers as well as the big red ones. And finally, I have poblanos. I've never grown poblanos before, but at least the seedlings are looking good. And this is more of that Rouge d'Hiver romaine lettuce, which probably will be chopped off as a salad one of these days, unless I have some luck with the ones that I've already transplanted out. Something I've been meaning to mention as we go along here anyway. If you see little brown pellets in some of these pots that I've been showing you, that is Safer's Slug and Snail Killer. I use Safer's because it is not supposed to be harmful to pets and wildlife, and it does work. It attracts the slugs and the snails, they eat it, and thankfully they die. Last but not least, this is a pot of sweetgrass. I found an advertisement on one of the companies that I frequently buy from online that they had sweetgrass, so I ordered a pot. I've tapped it out of the pot once, and it is very root bound, so I think I'll be able to divide that into at least 4 plants. If you don't know about sweetgrass, it's important ceremonially to our indigenous people here. They braid it and burn the braid and get the fragrance, the smoke, like an incense from it. But I just love the plant itself, and you can smell it on a warm day when you walk by. So I finally have my own patch of sweetgrass, and thank you very much for watching.